Let me see if I understand this, right? So this gives you a dynamic control over your sway bar.
Yes, exactly.
Hey guys, hello, we keep it dirty off-road. While we are at SDI a couple weeks ago, taking a look at their new e-clik system for the Gen 3, we got to preview something really cool. A dynamic sway bar that can engage or disengage as needed while you're off-roading. This is very much in the prototype phase. SDI is still developing and testing a solution, but while we were out there filming the Gen 3, they actually brought out the SDI Jeep so that they can start doing some tuning and testing for that platform. And we got to see what it could do, and it was pretty cool. Release date is not confirmed. We don't have any details on when this is going to be available. So check out this video with the owner, Dan from SDI, as he gave us a quick overview of the solution. My eye spies something really cool back there. Is that a sway bar setup right here that I'm looking at with e-clik?
Yes, we've been developing it for some time now. Most vehicles, sway bar is always locked. And there is some manual ways to disconnect it. But the problem is once it's disconnected, yeah, you do rock crawling, so driving. As soon as you get back on the road, it's horrible. With our system, it switches instantly. So all you have to do is hit it to auto mode. Depending on what mode you're in, like on a Jeep, you know, we have our desert mode. So that will leave it unlocked a lot longer. It's for off-road use only. We don't want you using it on the road, but it gives you that freedom. As soon as it knows or thinks you're gonna turn, it locks it back up for, you know, the drivability of having the sway bar. Street mode is the same way. If you're going slow and you hit a speed bump at an angle, it's loose. It just floats over it. As soon as it knows you're gonna turn, it's locked up. And then finally, trail mode, we give you the most freedom at slow speeds. It stays unlocked. So
let me see if I understand this, right? So this gives you a dynamic control over your sway bar.
Yes, exactly.
Which is unheard of. Nobody's ever done that.
Not this quickly. So Toyota with, I'm gonna quote this wrong, I always say this wrong, the KDDS or KSSD system. It was kind of funny. It was something like this, but it actually allowed the sway bar to flex up front. And it was only in like 4x4 load and like super slow speeds when you're in their like kind of funky mode.
Their trail mode, yeah.
Yeah, it does work, but as soon as it's connected and all the other time, they beat you up. Like it's not a smooth ride. So this is constantly changing and it's always putting it in the best spot when you need it there. So just like the shocks.
Let's say if you do this for a Raptor, which I hope you do, you could technically do a mode where you completely disconnect the sway bar and that's completely loose and allows it to move. And you can have a full sway bar experience so that each side responds independently.
Exactly. Even your wheel dropping out, right? Like, you know, everybody's always worried about up travel and absorb. But when you need your wheel to drop out and drop into a hole, the other end's holding it up. Like they're always fighting. So in a straight line, a sway bar is not your friend. And like slow speed when you're not turning, and as soon as the bumps are a little bit offset, it's not your friend. Because the shocks are fighting each other.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're allowed that. Well, on your Raptor, you don't run a sway bar, do you?
And the way it tracks on the trails is completely different, and I love it going down the trail. But yeah, when you get a turn, you do have to be careful because you get a whole lot more body.
But how is it on your drive home after you're done on the trail?
Oh my God, it's awful. I hate it. Driving that truck without a sway bar on the street, I mean, you feel that tire picking up. It's not a fun
Are you one of those guys that can pick up his inside wheel and get
you can definitely do that, and it's not fun. And I mean, because you don't know if you're going to keep the grip or not. I mean, it is a heavy truck. So to see something like that, I mean, that is
We're still finalizing this, and we've been doing a bunch of testing on the Jeep. It's been for a while, and it's getting closer. But
okay, hold on one second. My camera decided to stop recording. So yeah, we were talking about how great this would be on a Raptor and all the mid-travel kids. I mean, this would be amazing, man.
Yeah, no, it's definitely in the work. We're finishing up on Jeep right now. It's been a while. Actually, we're going to go do some stuff at Johnson Valley just to really get the algorithm locked in, because it's so important having it locked up at the right time, and the predictiveness of our algorithm is like so important on this one.
And I think that's where your sensor is going to shine too, because the accuracy and the size of that sensor is going to make a huge difference on stuff like that.
Absolutely. Nice thing too that we did build into it, if you go and see, well, right now it's loose, but when I go and I lock it up, there is like a slight amount of play. It's actually built into this. So even when it's locked up, and we figured out when, like driving down the road, you know, the little ripple, just having that, have that little bit of play actually gives you more comfort on the ride also. Especially on a straight axle vehicle, like believe it or not, that makes a decent difference.
That's pretty cool, man. I mean, that's just gonna step up everybody's game, because right now the only one I knew about, I didn't know about the Toyota one, was the Jeep one, and it's just the sway bar disconnected to the middle, right? Just allows one side to articulate. Is this gonna be just on one side, or would it be both sides?
No, we're doing it on both sides.
Dude, so full control on dynamic sway bar control on both sides.
And we could also put it on the rear of the Jeep, but the rear sway bar is so light. We're thinking about building a heavier sway bar for the rear so we can then disconnect it. So it's been one of the things talked about, because the effect on the rear, it being so light, like it's a little spindly thing. But so right now we just have it on the front, and that's where we've been getting most. Problem with the Jeep one is, number one, it's slow. And you have to be in 4 low. There is some tasers where you can go and like hold down the button and it'll even unlock to a higher mile an hour.
Yeah, but the tasers introduce so many more glitches and issues.
Up until 29 miles an hour. And like I'm on the road, you know, a car cut me off the other day. I needed to swerve over, and this thing did not lock fast enough. We're testing. And you need it then. And so if you forget to switch it back over, like on the road, you don't want this unlocked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's the problem with the taser. You forget, and then it gets in those situations. It's like rolling, especially a Jeep that's lifted, that has decent suspension. It's all over the place. Yeah. So this, like, basically, it's kind of like our modes. It just you don't have to worry about your suspension. Let the computer do it for you, and this stays ahead of it. You don't have to worry about if your sway bar is disconnected. It's always disconnected when you need it disconnected. Like, it's no more getting out and changing things or even pressing buttons.
That is pretty cool, guys. That is one of the coolest solutions I've seen in a long time. Can't wait to see you guys adapt that for the Raptor. And I know the Jeep guys are going to love something like this, right? Because they're always doing sway bar disconnects and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And this is going to be so much safer. And I mean, it's going to give them more capabilities, not just rock crawling, but also pre-running like the Raptor does, which your kid is amazing at that. While we were at Johnson Valley filming and testing the e-clik system on the Gen 3, we got to see this kit in action on the SDI Jeep. And what was cool is that everything that the Raptor was doing, the Jeep was doing just so they can test and tune in extreme scenarios. We saw it climb up a steep rocky hill. We saw it articulate the suspension as we were going in and out of washes, and you could see the sway bar engaging and disengaging to keep the Jeep as level as possible. It was just cool to see. At no point did it feel off balance. Now, the applications for a solution like this are endless. You can do it on Jeeps, UTVs, Raptors, and there's a ton of benefits that go along with it. Improved rock crawling performance, improved handling at high speeds, smoother ride on a straight line and an uneven terrain, and more control on the turns. And that's on-road and off-road. The SDI solutions are always looking at trying to bring the best of both worlds, right? Being able to give you that performance on the street while also giving you that performance off-road, and making the whole solution super easy, transparent, and completely automatic. And that's the best part about it. The traditional linked sway bar system, where you have to actually get out and disconnect it, and then you have to remember at the end of the day to go back and reconnect it so that you don't flip your rig while you're doing emergency maneuver on the road. The whole system is completely automatic. They're connected on pavement when you need it. They're disconnected when you don't, to give you a smoother ride and keep that thing nice and level. And it's all automatic, done with that killer SDI algorithm that really steps up the performance of all these trucks. The beauty of it all, you never have to get out of the truck. It's all automatic, it's all done for you. Now, I just want to remind everybody, this is very much a new solution that's in the prototype phase. There's no details yet on when the solution is going to be released, as well as what platforms are going to be supported. Right now, they are developing it on the Jeep, and that'll most likely be the first vehicle released. I'm not sure, but it's yet another really cool solution from SDI. I know you guys are gonna have a lot of questions, so make sure you guys put questions, comments below. If you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing, and thanks a lot for watching, guys.